Think every quarter is the same? Not true. Certain Washington quarters are rare and highly collectible. Don't spend yours until you know what to look for. The 1968 Washington quarter dollar might seem at first like an ordinary piece of pocket change, the kind of coin you might hand over at a gas station or find at the bottom of a drawer. But within the world of collectors, this coin has stories to tell, mysteries to unravel, and hidden treasures to reveal. While most examples are still worth just 25 cents, a rare few have brought collectors to their knees, commanding auction prices between $54,000 and $138,000. That extraordinary leap in value doesn't happen by accident. It happens because the 1968 Washington quarter represents one of those fascinating intersections of history, minting technology, and human error that make coin collecting such a passionate pursuit. To understand the significance of the 1968 Washington quarter, we need to look at the broader story of American coinage during the late 1960s. The United States Mint had undergone a major transformation just a few years earlier. Silver was removed from most circulating coins beginning in 1965, as the rising price of silver made it too expensive to keep minting dimes, quarters, and half dollars in their traditional 90% silver composition. The Washington quarter, introduced in 1932 to honor the bicentennial of George Washington's birth, had long been struck in silver, but starting in 1965, the mint transitioned the coin into a copper-nickel-clad format. By 1968, this new clad coinage was firmly in place. The quarter's core was a pure copper center, layered with a copper-nickel alloy that gave the coin its silvery appearance while dramatically reducing the cost of production. The design of the coin remained the same. On the obverse is the classic portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan, facing left, with the inscriptions "Liberty" above and "In God We Trust" to the left of Washington's profile. The date, 1968, rests beneath. On the reverse is the heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, a design meant to embody both strength and peace. Around the rim appear the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum at the top, with quarter dollar at the bottom. But while the design didn't change, the minting circumstances did. For one, mint marks returned in 1968 after a 3-year hiatus. During the years 1965 to 1967, mint marks were intentionally omitted from coins in an effort to discourage hoarding, as the mint believed that collectors and speculators were scooping up coins in search of rarities. By 1968, this practice ended, and the quarter once again bore the small identifying letter on the obverse, to the right of Washington's ponytail. Quarters struck in Denver carry a D mint mark, while San Francisco produced proof coins with an S. Philadelphia, at this time, still did not use a mint mark. This detail adds an important layer to the story, as certain mint mark varieties and proof errors from 1968 have turned into highly desirable collectibles. One of the most remarkable and sought-after varieties from this year is the 1968 S-proof quarter struck without its S mint mark. Proof coins, intended for collectors rather than circulation, were produced at the San Francisco Mint with special care, using highly polished dies and planchets to create coins with sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. Every one of these coins should carry an S mint mark to signify its origin. But a small number of proof quarters escaped the mint without this mint mark, creating one of the most famous modern rarities. For collectors, finding a 1968 proof quarter without the S is like discovering hidden treasure, an accident that shouldn't exist, yet does. These coins have sold for astonishing prices, with pristine examples bringing figures between $54,000 and $138,000 depending on condition and collector demand. The drama of such coins plays out not only in history books but in modern auction houses. Stories abound of collectors who purchased proof sets decades ago and only later realized that one coin in the set was different. A missing mint mark here, a slight error there, and suddenly a coin that once sat unnoticed in a drawer becomes a centerpiece of numismatic history. The discovery of one of these rare 1968 No-S quarters can be life-changing, not just financially but emotionally, because it connects the owner directly to a mistake at the mint and a rarity that only a handful of people on Earth will ever hold. Other errors from the 1968 Washington quarter also capture attention. Off-center strikes, double strikes, die clashes, and broad strikes have all been recorded. While many errors may only bring in modest premiums, the most dramatic ones can command thousands. especially when paired with the significance of the 1968 transitional period in coinage. For example, a quarter struck so far off-center that a large portion of the design is missing while the date remains visible is a dramatic visual anomaly that collectors love. Combine that with the historical importance of mint mark reintroduction in 1968, and such a coin becomes even more appealing. The allure of the 1968 Washington quarter isn't just about mint marks and errors. It's also about timing. Collectors recognize that this was an era of great change in American coinage, a period when the traditional Silver Age gave way to the modern clad coinage we still use today. This gives coins from the late 1960s a kind of transitional importance, marking the end of one era and the beginning of another. Within that context, the 1968 Washington quarter becomes more than just a 25-cent piece. It becomes a historical marker. Auction houses know how to tell the story of these coins, and when a rare example surfaces, the bidding can be electric. Consider a proof 1968 NOS quarter coming up for sale. Collectors around the world tune in, knowing how few exist. The first bids come in strong, then stronger, and as the numbers climb past $50,000, the tension in the room grows. By the time the hammer finally falls, the coin has soared into six figures, sometimes reaching $138,000. The winner doesn't just buy a coin, they secure a legacy, a piece of numismatic lore that will forever mark their collection as extraordinary. What makes this coin even more captivating is the idea that many of these rarities remain undiscovered. Proof sets from 1968 are still tucked away in attics, safes, and collections across America. Some have never been carefully examined, which means more NOS quarters could still be waiting to be found. This tantalizing possibility keeps collectors searching, reminding everyone that treasures may still lie hidden in the most unexpected places. The story of the 1968 Washington quarter also highlights a truth about coin collecting. Details matter. To the untrained eye, all quarters from this year look the same. But a closer inspection can reveal the difference between an ordinary coin and one worth more than $100,000. That difference might be as small as a missing mint mark or as dramatic as an off-center strike. This careful attention to detail is what makes numismatics such a rewarding pursuit, one that blends history, art, economics, and detective work into a single hobby. When you hold a 1968 quarter in your hand, you're holding more than metal. You're holding the story of a nation adapting to economic pressures, a mint adjusting to new production realities, and a coin that honors one of America's founding figures. Add to that the possibility of a hidden rarity worth tens of thousands, and suddenly the humble quarter takes on a whole new meaning. So the next time you come across a 1968 Washington quarter, don't be too quick to spend it. Examine it carefully. Look for the mint mark. Study the details. Because while most of them will be ordinary coins worth only 25 cents, a rare few can change your life. And in the world of coin collecting, that's the magic. Knowing that treasures worth between $54,000 and $138,000 could still be hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone with the right eye to find them. The 1997 Washington quarter dollar is one of those coins that on the surface seems common, but in the world of coin collecting, certain rare examples of it have shocked the market by reaching values that no one could have imagined. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932, when it was first introduced to honor the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, it became one of the most used and recognized coins in American life, changing from a silver composition to a copper-nickel-clad one after 1965. By 1997, billions of quarters had been struck, and most people would consider them completely ordinary pocket change. Yet, for collectors, it is precisely among those ordinary coins that treasures can be found, and the 1997 Washington quarter has proven to be one such treasure, with certain rare examples selling for between $46,000 and $130,000. When you look at the 1997 quarter, you see the familiar obverse featuring George Washington's profile, a design created by sculptor John Flanagan that has been on the quarter since its debut in 1932. The reverse, still showing the heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, represents strength and peace. The design had been in place since the Silver Era and would continue until the State Quarters program began in 1999. That means the 1997 quarter was among the final years of the Eagle Reverse series, giving it added historical interest for collectors. But what could make a 1997 quarter, a coin struck in the hundreds of millions at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, worth tens of thousands of dollars? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and errors. Errors are always at the heart of numismatic intrigue. A double die strike, where the design elements appear doubled, can turn an otherwise ordinary quarter into something spectacular. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or coins struck on the wrong planchet entirely, such as a dime or even a foreign coin blank, are especially desirable. In 1997, a number of these minting errors slipped past inspectors, and those few survivors are now some of the most sought-after Washington quarters ever produced. Beyond errors, condition plays a decisive role. The majority of 1997 quarters went directly into circulation, where they endured scratches, wear, and the usual toll of everyday transactions. Only a very small number remained pristine. Collectors grade coins on the Sheldon scale, ranging from poor, P1, to mint state perfection, MS 70. While a circulated 1997 quarter might still only be worth its face value, a flawless coin graded MS 68 or MS 69 becomes something extraordinary. The rarity of such perfection, combined with the historical context of being one of the last pre-state quarter designs, has propelled certain specimens to incredible values. At auction, a high-grade or unique error 1997 Washington quarter can bring results that reach anywhere between $46,000 and $130,000, leaving spectators in awe. Auction scenes involving this coin are often described as intense. Collectors who have spent years searching for the right piece finally get their chance. The bidding starts modestly, perhaps in the low thousands, but quickly escalates as the rarity and condition are emphasized by the auctioneer. The audience buzzes as the price rises higher and higher. Eventually, as the hammer falls, the winning bid can stun everyone present. When someone secures a 1997 Washington quarter for a figure exceeding six figures, the story spreads quickly throughout the numismatic community, adding another chapter to the legend of this coin. Part of the reason the 1997 quarter is so beloved is its place in history. Just 2 years later, the Washington quarter would undergo one of the most significant transformations in American coinage history with the launch of the state quarters program in 1999. That program completely changed the reverse design, highlighting each state in order of its admission to the Union. Suddenly, the eagle reverse was gone, and with it, the decades-long tradition of Washington paired with the heraldic eagle. The 1997 quarter represents one of the last of that long era, and collectors see it as a symbolic end of an age. Coins from transitional periods always hold special appeal, and the 1997 quarter is no exception. The stories surrounding finds of valuable 1997 quarters are what make collecting so thrilling. There are accounts of people going through their pocket change or searching rolls of quarters from the bank when they stumble upon a coin that seems different. Maybe it looks sharper, maybe the strike seems unusual, or maybe the coin is flawless despite being decades old. When those coins are examined by professionals and graded at the top levels, their owners sometimes find themselves holding a piece worth far more than they could have imagined. A $1/4 coin transforming into a $100,000 treasure is not just exciting, it's life-changing. Collectors often say that the thrill isn't just in the money, but in the discovery. The 1997 quarter captures that spirit perfectly. It is a coin that people used every single day for bus rides, vending machines, and small purchases without a second thought. Yet hidden among those billions are a tiny number of coins that carry staggering value. This dual identity, ordinary in one sense, priceless in another, makes the 1997 quarter so compelling. For those who want to try their luck, there are a few things to look out for. Always examine the date, the mint mark, and the details of the design. Check for doubling, off-center strikes, or any unusual appearance in the lettering or imagery. Condition is equally important, so look for coins with sharp details, full luster, and no scratches. While most finds will only be worth their face value, the possibility of discovering one of the rare high-value specimens keeps the search alive. It's this possibility that has led collectors to value these coins so highly, sometimes into the range of $46,000 to $130,000. What's most incredible is how this coin ties together everyday life and extraordinary rarity. The 1997 Washington quarter is something that millions of Americans handled casually without knowing that in the right form. It could pay for a car, a house, or even more. This blend of the ordinary and the extraordinary is exactly why numismatics continues to fascinate so many people. Coins like this remind us that history, art, and value can all be found in the change we carry in our pockets. The 1997 Washington $quarter coin has cemented its place in the story of American currency. For collectors, it is not just about the money but also about the connection to history, the artistry of its design, and the rarity of finding perfection in something so commonplace. As long as people search through change, there will be hope of discovering one of these treasures. And for those lucky enough to uncover a rare or error 1997 quarter, the reward can be astonishing, turning a humble 25 cents into a life-altering sum between $46,000 and $130,000.